Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with the other host.
But what is a Matt Marrero? What is Bobby Cookie?
What is Matty? Here's the thing, right? So, Tristan.
Who's hosting the show?
Right, we're talking about Fooly Cooley, the first season today. We're going to review Fooly Cooley. But I have a question.
Shit.
Right? Things just got fucking real on this episode of Anna Saturday. But I have a question for you, Tristan.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one of my Matt rants on Those Guys Play?
Of course.
You haven't, have you?
No, I have.
Oh, okay. So you know that, and if other people who might go to Those Guys Play often know that, which is our gaming YouTube channel, where on there, when I do a Matt rants, not always, but I usually ask a question alongside the topic. So it's not just the topic. There's occasionally a question involved. And I think with this review, the question that we have to ask is Gynax okay? Are they...
Gynax was never okay.
Are they doing okay?
I mean, they're great, but, they're insane. Yeah, it's always been like that.
I know. Very balls to the wall, crazy stuff, but, very symbolic. And I know that both with their, their animation styles as well as the writing. It's just, I don't have the creator's name offhand, so I'm going to look it up, or at least the person who is, headlining this anime. The reason why I say is he okay, because he's seen some shit. His childhood, or at least, again, as a collective, their childhoods were very interesting. Because, of course, this was meant to signify adolescence and kind of growing up and maturing. But the way that I see it, the way I see and try to make these connections, once I learned, okay, this is actually meant to be symbolic, not just wacky, right?
Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack, Tristan.
Yeah.
When it's only 6 episodes, and I'm like, oh, we have to unpack all of this? We can try, But, so first of all, I want to mention a few things. If you guys have never seen, if anyone listening in has never seen Fooly Cooley before, first of all, there's going to be spoilers here, so, okay. But, or if you haven't seen it in a while, perhaps, I would suggest looking into watching it again, trying to watch it again, refresh your memory, everything, because I don't know about anyone, listening to this podcast, but you and I, we didn't watch it when it first came out, but we did watch it in high school, so we were, this was 10 years ago, so this was a good refresher course, to actually, to look at it. What was it?
Well, no, it hasn't been that. It's been 8 years.
Oh, for you.
Oh, okay, so.
Well, no, because this came out, Fooly Cooley came out in 2000.
Right.
So it came out in 2000. Obviously, we didn't watch it when we were 8, and it had U.S. distribution in 2003, and we didn't watch it when we were 11. Not 11. Yeah, 11. We didn't watch it when we were... So, clearly, we watched it when if we were in high school, 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah. Because I think the first time I saw Fooly Cooley, I saw it on Toonami.
Okay, don't know when it came on Toonami, if it was 03 or 04. Unsure. Either way, I just know that I remember talking to you about it and a couple of our friends about it when I went to high school with you. And that was only for 2 years. Yeah. So it had to be 15, 16 is what I mean. But so when it comes to Fooly Cooley, it's, obviously it's something that had a huge, it's so strange because when you look online, it's it had a cult following. And I feel I don't know, I feel it's hard to say cult following. I know it is anime and it is a slice of anime nonetheless. And maybe now you could argue it has a cult following due to the fact that, compared to all the anime that exists today, compared to all the, kids that are now adults and things like that who may have never experienced Fooly Cooley, are watching, current anime that, now we have Crunchyroll, so we have freaking tons of anime per season. You kind of get lost in all those new anime. Now I could argue Fooly Cooley might be have a cult following, but at the time you mentioned it yourself right now, Tristan. It aired on Adult Swim. I gotta be honest, if even as an anime, if you make it to television and you're in yes, you're on cable, but you're not part of the hundreds and thousands package,
Right.
you're not on Nicktoons. You're on Cartoon Network. Technically Adult Swim half of it, but you're on Cartoon Network. You get cable, you watch Cartoon Network. I mean, I've told you guys before, I've told Tristan before, I watched Yu Yu Hakusho when it was on Adult Swim.
Right.
Even though I was 12 at the time, I just, I stayed up maybe half an hour after my bedtime. My dad was like, yeah, you can go to bed and, just turn it off, or if you fall asleep with it, I'll come in and I'll turn it off. And I'm like, okay, Dad, or set the timer, and I'll be like, okay. And then Yu Yu Hakusho would be part of that timer. Be like, okay, from an hour from now. And I'm like, okay, because it'd be a Saturday. I just watch Adult Swim, watch the Yu Yu Hakusho part of it, of Adult Swim. Or I would just be at my house and I'd be like, I'm going to stay up a little bit later just to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah. So when it comes to Fooly Cooley, did not see that when I was a kid, but still, it's I don't know. I feel like at the time, at least the way it was talked about in our circles, it felt like it wasn't a cult following. It felt like it was huge.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just such a small sample size. But I would like, if people are watching this through our YouTube channel, those guys on the radio, I really want people to comment down below. I want to hear what they have to say because I'm so confused because I thought it was huge. I thought Fooly Cooley maybe wasn't Cowboy Bebop, but I thought it was huge. And then, I look online, lists, and they're like, oh, yeah, cult following. And I'm like, really? A cult following? All right. I don't know. But have you heard anyone outside of our circle praise Fooly Cooley, other than online, in person? Because I have.
Yeah, I have to.
That's interesting, huh?
I remember the name getting thrown around. I can't remember now who I was talking to, but I've heard it get tossed around. Anyone who watched anime, I feel like mentioned it at one point, or somebody was like, "Oh, you have to see that," if they hadn't watched it.
Yeah. One thing that I'll say is that it has to be popular enough to have gotten a second and third season so many years after,
Yeah, right.
Even though, there are companies that do like the product that they put out, I don't think Adult Swim, Toonami / Cartoon Network / Warner Brothers, if you want to go to the highest ranks, I don't think AT&T wants to lose money. I'm kidding. But, I don't think money wants to be lost. You don't invest in something to go, whatever, we'll take a bath. Who cares?
Right.
You sit there and you think, yeah, we think it'll make money. So there's a reason why Fooly Cooley is second and third season, which we're not going to talk about today, also because I haven't seen it today. But still talking about these 6 episodes, so there's 2 things. The first thing is with how much praise I've heard about Fooly Cooley, it's always hard when I get so much hype on something because then I'm like, does it live up to the hype? When really I wish to, if I could, kind of sever hype for something. Because I think we've talked about this before a lot for Anna Saturdays, Friday Night Movies, whatever the podcast is. Sometimes people overhype something so much that I'm like, it was amazing, but your hype was too much.
Oh. You're saying that Fooly Cooley doesn't live up to the Fooly Cooley hype? No.
This immediately turns into a manga slideshow.
No, we can't afford the manga style on those guys' budget.
We really... You know what's funny? That's not a joke. We just cannot.
The borders just get taken away. We get left with the bill. Oh, shit.
Basically. Yeah, no, it didn't live up to its hype. But I do have to say one thing, and this really does upset me. It's technically not the show's fault, but it's really frustrating. And I don't know if you noticed this, Tristan. I don't think anyone at home probably noticed this yet. But basically what happened was I looked on eBay, and it's really cheap to buy the Blu-ray set, but I don't have the money right now.
Huh.
So that's not the show's fault. In fact, it might be to the show's favor. So I kind of want, this is what's going on in Tristan's head right now. Do I give Matt the money to buy it for me? That's what's going on in Tristan's head right now. And Tristan, I accept. But no, it's actually really cheap. I'll talk to you about it when we're done with the podcast. But point is, all jokes aside, the show is that good that it did make me think I do want it. So obviously, kudos to the show for pulling me in that way. But again, I think we've talked about this before. Like, if you let's say you have kids one day, Tristan. You're like, I don't know how this happened, and the kid's like, same. And so you have kids, right? And so a kid pops out, materializes out of your forehead, Tristan.
Oh, lovely.
You get hit by a Vespa, and the kid materializes out of your forehead.
I would show up to your doorstep and be like, this is your fault.
What's funny is you were like, I don't know who rode the Vespa. I have a feeling it was you. And I'm like hiding a Vespa in the closet. I have no idea what you're referencing.
That guitar is new. Have you always had that?
My God. Anyway, so my point, though, is to this kid, you want to get him into Star Wars because it's you. But if you tell him that it's the second coming of Jesus Christ, the kid might be like, first of all, don't know much about Jesus yet. That's the first thing the kid might say, depending on how old he is. No, but seriously, so like a lot of people really like talk so heavily about Fooly Cooley that it's very hard for me to say that it lived up to that hype. But at the same time, especially when watching the show, I think what happens to me with this show, every time I see it again, especially, depending on how long it's been, because I think I may have seen it once since high school, but either way, every time I see it, it has to grow on me again. So the first episode seems a bit too off for me, and I don't know why. But then as the show goes on, I just start to really fall in love with it, fall in love with some of these characters. Not all of them. Some of them are a little odd still. But I fall in love with some of the characters, and I fall in love with the fight scenes and the action and the references as well. And then I go, right, I really enjoy Fooly Cooley. But it's the first episode. And there's something, again, it's not like the first episode's terrible. It's just something about it that just feels weird no matter what year I'm seeing it. Even when I was a teenager, I was like, yo, how old's that kid? How old is she? Why are they rubbing like that, though? Like the one that, that she was into his older brother.
Yeah. Mamimi.
Yeah, Mamimi. Yeah, whenever he says her name. Mamimi. Her, she's I don't know how to explain. I mean, I guess you could argue she reminds us of like people we may have known in high school in some ways, just very much like, affectionate and a little bit of a pyromaniac. Not too much, but like a little bit. And so I think the problem with her is that like it never felt like she had a chance to grow. It just felt like she was there so that Nauta could be like, yeah, I'm into you, but wait, not really, but like, yeah, and then she could just, just go away. Like, it felt like she never stopped being someone who was interested in being a pyromaniac or getting revenge.
Well, I mean, she found her calling by the end of it.
Well, she always wanted to be a photographer. She always had a knack for photography. The problem is, it's like, it's nice that you want to, like, take pictures. Like let's say she's like, I want to take pictures of fires. It's like, well, did you start them? We need to. That's the issue. Now, because that's the issue. We kind of need to look into that a little bit.
That is the issue here, man.
What was that?
Nothing.
No, Tristan, we on a podcast, people need to fucking hear you. If we can't hear you, no, Tristan, this isn't funny. Nobody heard you. I hear these in post. Nobody. I didn't even hear that.
Exactly.
Tristan, okay, if I get everyone who listens in, that might only be like 5 people, but that's still enough, to punch you in the face, will you understand, oh, wow, this is a large amount of people that can't hear me? Do I need to do that, Tristan? Does it need to be like that movie Airplane, where I get them all in a line to shake you, to tell you to say all your jokes clearly to the entire class on the podcast? Do I need that to happen,
depends.
Tristan?
That depends. If you can catch me with all of those people, I will be impressed.
First of all, you're going on a plane, and I know when you're going on a plane, and it's soon.
Exactly.
I can get those people. You have no idea. You have no idea,
Vespa
Tristan.
fly now too? Is that it?
Yes. I'm from Queens. All of our Vespas fly. Fuck you talking about? Anyway, yeah, right. You should have moved to Queens, Tristan. What was I gonna say? But I really do enjoy this show, but I want to hear your take on this because I can gush about this show and even some of the negative stuff. Before I get into any of that, I just want to hear what you have to say because I haven't really heard, I've heard you say you like the show before, but we actually haven't talked about Fooly Cooley at all much, and we've known each other for 10 plus years now.
Gosh, has it really been that long? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm pretty sure I've actually seen it all the way through before. And looking at the different runs it has, I probably saw it between 2013 and 2014. So it's funny. I probably didn't see this in full until after high school, actually. Would have been early college. But anyway, yeah, it was definitely different from the usual anime, the usual shonen that I watch. And it just had this kind of charm. It was so ridiculous that I kind of couldn't look away. I'm like, all right, I'll bite. What do you got for me? And by the end of it, I'm like, I still don't understand what you've got for me. You got something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I have a vague idea. I have a concept, kind of like a dream that you remember very vividly, but by the next morning you've forgotten most of the details. But you know it was amazing. Kind of like that feeling.
Essentially, yes. No, that is the feeling of this show, though. One of the directors said that his goal was to he was inspired to make the show, or one of his inspirations was watching watching different Japanese commercials. And you've seen Japanese commercials, Tristan. I've seen them. It feels kind of like a Japanese commercial in some ways, very high energy, fast paced, very odd, different,
right.
a strange style. The story, I will admit, the story did flow. When people say, "Oh, the story didn't flow," I'm like, well, when I think of flow, I mean it wasn't like it was disjointed, out of order. There was no continuity. There was continuity. It's just, of course, they ended up pulling stuff out of everywhere. You know what it is too?
Yeah.
I think while sci-fi, while weird, wacky sci-fi did exist, of course, this is 2000. We're not jumping back to the 70s, 80s when things were really, I don't say we're only revolutionary then. I'm not going to say that, but this was the year 2000. It's 18 years ago, so we can feel decrepit, but it wasn't. Again, it wasn't 30. It wasn't 40. It's not like when we talk about Mad Max and we're like, wow, that became a staple from this, right? But
right.
I will say, though, due to it being 18 years ago at this point, it did inspire so many different shows, both in Japan and, abroad. So I do feel as if, even though I'm not going to say that, nothing like this happened before, there are some of the stuff that did happen here. I think it showed that, you can I guess you could say you can do that, if you will, or you can do it and people will be interested in it, or people will really, be inspired by it. It's not just, stories don't have to just be A, B, C, D, in that order. You can do A, C, F, definitely, and try to kind of show people that, anime doesn't have to just be one thing. It doesn't have to just be even with Fist of the North Star being so different with at the time, and a bunch of other shonen anime bringing something different to the table. In my opinion, I don't look at Fist of the North Star and think, oh, that's clearly Dragon Ball Z. There are differences. People can make jokes if they want to, but there are differences. Same thing with JoJo. When I see JoJo, yes, of course, large men, going hua, but a lot of differences though. But still, though, when it comes to something like Fooly Cooley, you're like, yeah, I don't know how I would describe Fooly Cooley to someone. And I think that's a good thing about the show in a way.
It's how it kind of draws you in.
What was that? Yeah, yes, it draws you in. Exactly. One thing I want to say too is who is inspired, or like some of the shows that were inspired by this one, like Korra, the Airbender, Korra.
Yeah.
What?
You mean Avatar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I'm referring to that series, because Korra could mean, I think there's other Korras out there. Just like if I said Avatar, you're like, wait, blue people or Airbender? But I believe there's other Korras out there as well. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, no, it inspired, like apparently some of the, I forgot who was running that show, but while he was running it, he basically told the animators, go buy Fooly Cooley and watch all of it. So that's interesting to think about. Of course, I do believe like the giant hand, even though like hands have been a thing in animation or in mythology for a very long time. I mean, even like Master Hand, all jokes aside and being serious, hands have been a thing forever. But the way the hand is up in Fooly Cooley, the large one, the statue, it reminds me a lot of the hand in Steven Universe, which is, came out in like 2012 and it's still going. And they're very, heavily anime inspired, Sailor Moon, Spirited Away, a bunch of other shows that you can't even list them all. Right. So it's kind of funny when I'm like, I'm pretty sure Rebecca Sugar or others that work on the staff probably watched Fooly Cooley.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say though, so here's something we might actually disagree on. Do you think Fooly Cooley is a good gateway anime?
I guess it kind of depends. I feel like it could be.
Okay.
Like if you're into comedy, I think it would be. But
I think it depends on what kind of comedy, though, because like I've dated women who I've shown anime to who really enjoyed and loved anime, but have said that they're not big fans. Some of them are not big fans of Japanese comedy. Okay. So I do wonder if the comedy in this show, it might be considered like I don't want to cast people and make them seem like prudes, but then it might seem too lewd because they're not expecting that. Not like from animation, because of course people see South Park all the time, which was also lampooned during the show, during Fooly Cooley, like the one animation with eyebrows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he's getting his hair done. Yeah.
That was what's really funny is other than the eyes of the kids that were sitting next to him, if you didn't show their eyes, I would have thought that Matt and Trey, Parker and Stone edited this. It looked straight out of South Park. Like the eyes were perfect. It's only when they went to the kids that I was like, I don't think that those look right. But but eyebrows, he should be in every subsequent version of this show. He should be voiced over by Peter Capaldi because he has attack eyebrows.
Oh God.
He needs to be voiced over by Peter. If there's ever a live-action version of this, Peter Capaldi needs to be him. Yes. The answer is yes, always, Tristan. So, yeah, I don't think this is a good gateway anime. And not just because of all the references, because they are thrown in there, but they aren't, like, super-duper heavy, I think. Like, I feel like you don't have to know what an Ava is or what Gundam is other than knowing the name, arguably, to at least know, okay, that's like you might have heard it in passing, but I don't think it's going to really hurt your take on the series. But I do feel as if though, Tristan, I don't want, and maybe some people, because of how different it is, I don't want people to think that's every anime.
Right.
In the same way that even if it was a shonen anime, even if it was shonen, straight up shonen, nothing crazy, but there was like one scene with tentacles, I'd be like, nope, not showing that to someone. Nope. They're like, Matt, it's only one scene. I'm like, nope, but it's their first. Nope, not happening. Not letting them think, oh, right, tentacles. Like, no. Also, some of the fan service too isn't a problem. I think some of it was fun, and some of it, I don't think it was like the worst thing ever. But other parts of it, again, if you're showing it to someone for the first time, they're like, so that's what anime is. It's the skirts blowing up. It's this. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just this. This one was like a late night fun one. Yeah, quote unquote fun.
I mean, it's parodying a lot of that stuff.
Exactly. Although I don't know if the sexual stuff was a bit more of parody or a bit I don't know where to lean on that, because I don't know if you would call that parody necessarily, but other stuff was clearly parody. Obvious parody. Heck, even looking at Attack Eyebrows, he really felt like a character like Lupin the Third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made the Lupin joke with Naoto's dad too.
Right. Or Golgo 13, if you know that one. You could look him up. Just when you see the face, you're like, oh, I think I might know that one. He's another assassin spy situation. Though I don't know too much about Golgo 13. I don't know too much about him, but yeah, or about his manga. But anyway, yeah. Oh, I loved the Ava joke they made or something when when we had Naoko's dad just talking about different talking about robots. And it was, I think it was, yeah. And he was like, yeah, he wrote an Ava, he didn't say compendium, but he said some kind of history collection or something like that. And I died.
Right.
So there was actually some references that were in this that weren't even in the Japanese version, which was weird.
Really?
Yeah. When you were watching the show, did you see the next episode previews every time?
No, not every time.
Did you see the first one?
Yeah.
So in the first one in English, she's talking about different Game Boys.
Right.
In the Japanese version, she's talking about a classical, a philosopher's theory on something. And it was very strange. I was like, that's a weird, because I love localization. I'm totally cool with localization. And some people out there are going to be like, how dare he? And I'm like, look, every joke cannot be explained to you. To me, it isn't, something can be funny if I missed it, but if I tried to say a joke to Tristan right now where, knock, knock, who's there, and then da-da-da, and then Tristan didn't get it, it's not going to be funny to Tristan if I'm like, okay, let me explain. So orange, orange sounds like orange chew. You see, Tristan, you see? It sounds like you're smiling. What?
I said, why are you walking away, Tristan? Come back here.
Exactly. So for me, when I watch anime or anything from another country or in a different language, I don't want to have to see. And granted, sometimes it has to happen if it's not dubbed. But if it's dubbed, then it's like, okay, I really don't need to hear either honorifics, or I really don't need to. More importantly, with localization, I'm not saying I need to have them not be in Japan. That's when things go too far. When it's like, okay, you're not in San Francisco, you're in Japan. Stop it. But yeah, it's happened before. But if there's a dub for it, I don't need that kind of change. However, at the same time, I also don't need to have if a joke can be explained in some way, or not even explained, I'm sorry, if a joke can be changed if need be, then I'm cool with it. But the Game Boy thing, while hilarious, was kind of weird, because every other preview, 2 to 6, were all relatively straightforward. Actually, no, 2 was different, because in the Japanese version of 2's preview, they had mentioned how man and cat are different and are very, but their relationship is a lot more. It isn't as It isn't as complex as as a dog or something like that. But in the English version though, they constantly made it seem like they was very heavily on cats. Animators really do like having cats because they don't really have to do much with them. They were really trying to make jokes in-house with the second one, but in the Japanese version it was still a bit more cat-centered. But after that second one, they just stayed very much they just copied the script for 3 to 6, and I was so confused because I was like, but I don't think the next episode preview aired on TV, so why would they change it to Game Boys? Who on staff, who was localizing this and was like, damn, I'm really liking the new Game Boy Advance in 2000.
Right.
Or, well, actually, no, not in 2000. It would have been like, it probably was dubbed in like '02. So when the Advance was like just coming out. So odd, very odd. But yeah, you think it depends on the person. If this is like a good gateway anime, I think it's just not. But again, I really think it depends on who you show it to. Because like if someone doesn't have a problem with some gags that might seem like they're just blow up the skirt, stuff like that, maybe they'll be able to watch it. But if there's some people who have problems with those gags, I'm not saying I would never not show them Fooly Cooly. I would just tell them, by the way, some skirts fly up, it can get a little weird in that way. Also, a guy dresses up as Hitler. But, like, other than that, the series is rather... The Nazi thing didn't just throw me off. It threw you off, too, didn't it? It wasn't just me.
I felt like it was supposed to be another take from Lupin, but I guess...
I mean, well, that's the thing is that it seems like it's something that happens a lot in Japanese media, especially mostly in the 80s, though, because there was like, I'm not going to get into politics or anything like that. It's just that at the time, I feel like there wasn't that much of a divorce from, especially compared to like Germany, where like in Germany, up until recently, you couldn't even have swastikas portrayed negatively. There was just no swastikas. So like a game like Wolfenstein, right? And we all know Wolfenstein. A game like Wolfenstein could go to Germany and they'd be like, yeah, it's fine, but could you remove all of the swastikas? And you're like, but they're fighting against Hitler. Oh no, we know. We know. We would just rather not have any of that shit. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which, like, believe me, I'm not saying that I'm, not against, Nazis. It's just like, but it's against Hitler. It's a bit different than in this situation where, yes, Naruto's dad was supposed to be the bad guy in this situation, but it was still rather odd to have him dressed like a Nazi with, or in that outfit. That was just rather odd. And I was like, well, that aired on television. I don't know how the fuck that got aired on Late Night Adult Swim.
As they're playing with BB guns by the riverbank.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I guess that is what it was. Yes, but still, like, just him in that outfit. Like, it's a bit different than like JoJo, where like, yeah, the anime came out in 2012, 2013, right? But the manga was based off. Manga came out in the 80s, so that makes sense to me. Like, yeah, manga came out in the 80s. That was a long time ago. Even like Kinnikuman, I don't know if it happened in the anime, but in the manga there was blackface.
Right.
And it's granted it was trying to be Kinnikuman going undercover. He was in disguise, but he was clearly, and also to be fair, Kinnikuman is very much like Homer Simpson in the fact that he is a complete fucking idiot. But it still doesn't change the fact that in the manga he was in blackface. But manga came out in the 70s. So clearly you put a disclaimer or maybe you redo the art and that's it. You call it a day. But in this case, it's like this came out in 2000. It's only 18 to 19 years ago. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, all righty then. Like, it's not like it was like, I don't know, like, it wasn't offensive necessarily just because he was in the outfit necessarily, in my opinion. But it was still just a thing where I'm like, again, it's like, who do I show this anime to? Like, it's just, do I have to explain? Like, there's a guy dressed up as a Nazi, but it doesn't make reference to the Nazis other than that. So, yeah. But you're right though. It could, it could be parodying or in some way lampooning animes that do use soldiers. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know, because that's the thing. It's like a lot of things in this show are humorous and joking and tongue-in-cheek. I just don't know why that was funny necessarily. Unless the joke is, dear God, he's looking at his dad. Because here's the thing, too, by the way. I would like to add this on. if we believe that this anime is like truly in the main character's head, like all of it is in his head, quite literally in many ways the way they come out of his head, that all of this negativity, all of this bad stuff is kind of just coming out from his head, from his brain. If we assume that all of this is in his head, then it is quite humorous that when his dad becomes the bad guy, he just becomes a Nazi. Like, you go from zero to Nazi. In that way, that's funny. But other than that, it is kind of like when taking it straightforward. Like, if you look at it from a straightforward, straightforward point of view, you believe that the aliens are real, that all of this actually happened. TM. This is all factual. TM. Then, it's weird.
Yeah, they even bring up that point in the second episode. It's like, where do the lies end and the truth begins? What's actually, and Naruto is always talking about how nothing happens in this town. It's so boring and ordinary, and yet all this crazy shit is happening.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what you just said with, when we have, oh God, what was her real name? Because they said Haruko, but, like, what was her real name? I forgot what it was, because it was mentioned, like, once by Attack Eyebrows. But the point is,
I don't know.
Yeah, the point is that she says, like, oh, is this all part of your, is this all part of your mind, your teenage adolescence, or your general adolescence? And it's funny because, I don't know about you, Tristan, but I also had a very active imagination when I was a kid. No, I'm being serious. Like, none of that fucking happened to me. But, like, I had a very
active... Mechanica ironed out your brains and took out the wrinkles, and you can't think anymore.
Oh, friend, that is such a silly comment. Come over and we shall discuss. But no, but seriously though, I had a very active imagination. So I remember, like, when I was a kid, I would oh God, what was it? Yeah, if I was looking at, like, Scantrons or something like that, when I was done, of course, when pencils were down, okay, I would picture, like, different, like, either superheroes or, like, other, I don't know, not creatures, but I guess, like, superheroes, like, jumping from one to the other, like it was a video game platform.
Huh.
Yeah, or, like, little stuff like that, or, like, looking up at my ceiling and seeing, like, different, not ceiling, well, actually ceiling, yeah, because the ceiling, if you've seen the ceiling in my house, Tristan, because you've been here, you see there's, like, little lines and dashes and stuff like that, so I would see things like, I would obviously know that they weren't real, but like, I would see things like racing and stuff like that, or, like, I would look at different parts of my ceiling that, like, oh, that one looks like a platform to there, so, like, Spider-Man would be swinging from one to the other, so, like, imagine that kind of, creativity, but mixed in with, this kind of show. And all of a sudden, they're freaking, these, robots and monsters are coming out of his head while he's trying to deal with the fact that his brother left for the U.S. to play baseball at a very young age for him. And apparently, God only knows what happened to his mom. Like, his mom is either dead or his mom and dad may have gone through what his other friends' mom and dad went through. And that's why she was there. She was there to, like, mirror that part of his life. Not that she was fake, but that like her situation, that's why they were friends and they connected. And they never really delved into that because we assume that the mom has passed on, but we have no idea. You know? So the mom isn't there. It's just the dad and the grandpa. The dad and the grandpa clearly are so weird and extroverted and perverse and creepy that a guy, a little kid like him who is not like that at all, very much like just to himself, would clearly go into his head. So it's just very interesting to think of it like as, like trying to piece together every little thing and see how that might relate to his adolescence. Maybe not like ours or anyone else's that might be listening, but someone's adolescence, clearly, because Gynax made this. So he is clearly an amalgam of like their adolescences. It was just very interesting, like looking at it from that perspective. Now, again, with the Fooly Cooly 2 and 3, maybe that throws it out the window, but still, but looking at it from, because again, this is confirmed that it's about, a young boy growing up. Right. And it's interesting to see how, he's having these issues with, with a bunch of different characters, really, not even just one, right, about, him trying to pretend and be cool and be an adult and everything, but people a bunch of times are like, dude, you're just a kid.
Right, yeah.
Or we're just kids. Oh, I don't want to be into play. Plays are for kids. What are we, genius?
Right, we are kids.
Yeah. It's interesting. You know what he feels like? He feels like a very young Ichigo Kurosaki.
Oh, God.
Doesn't he? Especially with his dad.
Say. Oh God.
His
you had
dad.
to bring that up.
All right. What was it? All right, Naoto, Ichigo. I just want everyone to stand up whose moms aren't dead. All right, they're sitting down, and I need to leave.
Oh, God.
They are going to hurt me. But yeah, no, and what's very interesting is just having the character of Attack Eyebrows just coming in and giving, him advice about women, about, certain types of women like, like the alien MC, whose name we do not know. We don't even know if the name that he has for her is real. Also, another thing, too, that I found interesting. So some people are going to say that I'm getting political here, but frankly, we're talking about Japanese media, and a lot of Japanese media does this, so I have a feeling that they were doing this as well with Fooly Cooly. A very not anti-capitalist or anti-corporation, but definitely an anti-pollution, very much like a pro-green kind of anime. And what I mean is, the second the new factory comes into town, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you mean the shitty factory with terrible people that want to destroy that kidnapped the devil? No, literally it's like, we kidnapped the space devil. And that's how bad Mechanica is. And they're like the new factory in town. Also, they're blowing out smog everywhere.
Right.
Because a lot of stuff that we talk about from Japan has a very pro-environmental, anti-pollution message. And I felt like this show kind of had a little bit of that. Maybe it's just me pulling something out of it. But
no, I feel like a lot of Japanese media does have that feel to it.
But yeah, so do you think that maybe that was here as well, or do you think, because it's very strange that the big evil, because you could argue that there were other people who were quote unquote bad, but it felt like the big bad, at least from the second episode, was the new factory in town that didn't even seem like it made anyone's lives better. Again, he's a kid, which is funny from his perspective because he actually doesn't know what they do. So he doesn't say
no one really
they brought
knows
in
what they do either.
What was that?
Even Haruko is like, there's no doors. Who even works here? What even goes on here? No one even knows. Ask anyone in town.
That's funny. So you could say it was like a secret government facility kind of thing. It was, secret government facility, alien base, nothing like what I'm saying. But it's the smog part of it, and it's the whole the brand new factory showed up in town, and I don't know, and our one horse town, nothing really goes on here,
right.
And then we have big old factory coming on in. To me, it felt like they were going a little bit in that direction. Let's see here. So here's some fun. So I have a question for you before we get into some funny things about the voice actors and voice actresses. Did you also feel like, because we haven't seen it in Japanese in a very long time, I wanted to watch the dub though because I knew from what I remembered some of the jokes would have been translated better and flowed better in English than in Japanese. And I only say that not to criticize Japanese, but I am going to sadly, and I'm not saying anything negative about the translator, but I am criticizing the translation. Just for what it is, because it is a bit hard, because some of the jokes that flowed very well in English were broken up, and some of because just how sometimes some translators, the way they translate certain in Japanese, it's not like new jokes are added in, I'm not saying that, I'm saying I don't know, if you and I are talking the way we're talking right now, if it was in, Japanese translation or whatever, yada, flipped in, someone would probably, instead of it being like, hi, how are you doing? It would be like, how are you doing this day? Or something like that, where it works, but the sentence structure is a little different. So right. I felt like that was the way, when we were looking at this, when we were looking at Fooly Cooly, that's how I felt about it. But what I wanted to say, though, was, let's see here. I want to talk about the voiceover work. Did you think that it seems like they got some of the voice actors got better as the show went on? Like Haruko, I feel like her voice actress, who has voice acted before, don't get me wrong, but she's voice acted before this anime, she only did cartoons. So she did Merc in cartoons.
Right.
So she was a veteran.
It might have been, her settling into the role a bit. At first it might have been a little tricky trying to get the hang of it, you know?
Yeah, and it's frustrating too because when she did settle in with it, when she was able to kind of like flesh it out, and when the like she was even saying, or someone said she wanted to, when the animation changed in a scene, she would do the voice differently. So it felt like she brought a lot to the role. But after the first episode, like in the first episode, she just felt very, I don't know how to explain it. Like it didn't seem like there was much there. Also, throughout the entire show, with Naruto's friend, who I still can't remember her name, which is sad. Mamimi.
Hinamori.
No, I was talking about Mamimi. Mama Makusa. She, her voice actress, and I think she went on to do great things, but it's just this one role. I was like, I don't know. It's hard to. I don't know. I thought she did fine. Because her character is supposed to be kind of, in a way, back and forth between flirty and happy, but also gloomy and distant. And no, but it felt like it was all gloomy and distant. Like it was never like. It wasn't like, to me it didn't come off as like, what? It didn't come off as like, what? I'm just flirting with you. It was like, what? I'm just flirting with you. And I feel like there was, actually one thing, I was so freaked out when she was in the water, when they were like, oh, she gets bullied, and I saw blood, and I was like, what is she doing near that water? She just got hurt from falling in the water. But I freaked out because I was like, Moody high schooler, I was like, please don't let it be what I think it is, and thankfully, not thankfully, but like her character had gotten hurt. I thought it was something completely different, and I was really nervous. I was like, I don't want this show to get that real. Please stop.
Right.
But no joke. Like I was just like, please, dear God. But anyway, now I want to talk about the actual voice, voice actors, because we have a very interesting, like what they went on to do after this, or what they were doing even before this. I'm like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Like I can't believe you were in this or you were in that. So it's Kari, either Kari or Carrie, because it's Kari, Kari Walgren, who she was the voice of Haruko. She also went on to voice, Fu in Samurai Champloo, which I really liked her in that, which is why when I think of her in Fu, I'm like, yeah, it just might have been because this was new to her at the time. She was Hiragi in Lucky Star. She was also Celti Sturluson in the Durarara series. There you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that means something to you.
Yes, it does.
Yes. I don't know, were there video games for Durarara or no?
No, but like it's had 2 seasons for an anime here.
No, I was wondering if just like with Persona, you may have seen like, oh, she may have been in the anime but not the game or something like that. That's why I was curious.
No. It's probably the anime.
Okay, and here's what really made me laugh. Okay, so you might know this, Tristan. You might not have seen the episode, but some of you guys listening in might have. So Melissa has a band called At the Ready. You should definitely check them out online. A.T. The Ready. Now, why is she relevant? Why is At the Ready relevant? Well, At the Ready might not be, but she's relevant because she and I played Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds. For those guys, play Season 4, 1 episode of that. Why is that relevant? She played Willow. So they didn't get the actress for Willow to come back, and when I heard Willow's voice, even me, someone who's seen maybe like 2 episodes of Buffy, was like, that sounds like someone's trying to do an impression of, I think the actress' name was like Allison something, and even Melissa was like, yeah, that sounds like an impression. Apparently, it was her voice, it was her.
That's fine.
So Haruko's voice actress was a character in a video game, specifically Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that came out in, like, what, '03, I think, funnily enough, around the same time. And, well, yeah, it came out on the PS2, so it had to be, like, '03, maybe '04. And we played it on the show without me knowing her connection to Fooly Cooley at all. What a fucking small world, Tristan. I mean, honestly, dude.
Well, that's what happens when you live in a small town your entire life, Matt. You think you don't really know that the outside world exists, and you're just surrounded by white smoke everywhere.
You have to understand. Carrie Walgren, residence, Los Angeles, California. Granted, apparently she was born in Kansas, but, like, still, when you were just like, you're like, you were in a small town, Los Angeles. But I want to see what else she was in. She was in Fairly Odd Parents. I don't know who Chloe Carmichael is, but she played that character. She's also voiced characters in Rick and Morty. She voices Jessica. I don't know who Jessica is. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's like, Tristan, oh my God. Let's see here. No, I think she was in Gravity Falls. It's interesting. I'll have to look that up later. Yeah. So, hey, what did you think about the voice cast as I'm looking up some characters here?
I mean, I thought everyone did well with their role. I didn't feel like anybody's voice was, like, out of place. It's
funny. Okay, so Barbara Goodson, she played Naoto. I think that her voice was amazing in general. Yeah. I loved her voice, but I don't know if it fit him. Like, it's not her fault. It's just a thing where sometimes, not always, but it's a very fine line with women who end up playing characters who are little boys, or even little girls, to be fair. In anime, it's a very fine line between, like, are you a woman playing this boy, or are you, like, a boy?
Right.
I think that most of the time the line wasn't crossed into, okay, you're clearly a woman playing this boy, but sometimes it was, and it's funny because it might just be my fault because I looked up who she had been, because I knew her voice was very familiar, and I found out who Barbara Goodson has been before being Naota. She was Empress Rita Repulsa in the Power Rangers franchise.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, it always ties into Toku. It always comes back to Toku. So she was Rita Repulsa. So obviously, if any of you guys, you might remember, with Zeo Ranger, the original, that's the season that originally, then became Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It wasn't refilmed, some of that stuff. Some of it was later, but some of it wasn't refilmed. So, like, when they had the Japanese actress, I forgot her name, sadly, she passed away in the mid-2000s. When they had her playing Bandora, they just took that footage. So they had Barbara Goodson dub over this Japanese woman, and, of course, they had the other suits, people in suits dubbed over as well. So she was Rita in MMPR, Zeo, Turbo, In Space, and then she also played other characters as well. Oh, she played Prince Sprocket and Orbis in Power Rangers Zeo. Sprocket was like he was little, and it was like the Machine Empire, so it makes sense that she played him, and his voice sounded very much like now it does. That's why I hear her voice, and I'm like, you sound familiar. She was also in Power Rangers Wild Force, and she was Lady Borg in Beetleborgs Metallics. And Tristan, you might know her as Mother Talzin on Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Oh my God.
The last of which she won a Best Actress award from the website Behind the Voice Actors.
Yeah, I mean, she's great at what you'd never guess that from hearing her voice in Clone Wars, because there's a lot of manipulation in the voice, but, like, still, holy crap.
And she was also Granny Chiyo in Naruto, and she's been Lady Shima. I don't know who the hell those people are, but she was them, and that's it. She was them. So yeah, so she's amazing. So I love her so much. Oh shit, she lives in Brooklyn, New York. Well, fuck. Oh no, she was born there. She lives in Santa Monica right now. But either way, Brooklyn. Immediately, it's like That is the call of those that live in Brooklyn. But still, and I want to see. It's rough to try to look up some. The way the Wikipedia has the actors and the characters set up, they have all the mains in the front, obviously. But because there's 3 seasons, they jump to those mains, and I'm like, I don't want to be spoiled. Please stop.
Right.
Okay, wait. So Mamimi Samejima, she was played by Stephanie Shea. Wait, Stephanie Shea is amazing. Stephanie Shea, she's actually really good. Stephanie Shea, because I've heard that name before because let me see. Although she started in 2001, so that, this role must have been very early in her career. But no, Stephanie Shea, I'm pretty sure was she in Your Name? Let me find out. I could swear she was in Your Name. Or maybe I'm wrong. She was in Your Name.
Huh.
Have you seen that movie?
I haven't, but a friend of mine has been telling me I need to.
Okay, neither have I, so we're good. We're on the same page here. She also played the role, and it was a bit role in Sailor Moon R, the movie. She played Sailor Moon. Small part, just something, to pay the bills, just to get by,
Right.
She played Sailor Moon. She was also in the movie Judge Dredd Superfiend. She played Vieta. She did not play Judge Dredd. She's also been in Legend of Korra, Care Bears, Welcome to Care-a-Lot. Sure. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She's been in Digimon. She's been in Danganronpa, or Danganronpa. Damn it, I always get that one wrong. Oh, fuck, what was... Anyway, so she's been in a lot of shit. Oh, Kill la Kill as well. Hello. So she's been everywhere is the point, Tristan. Although I'm looking for, Dragon Ball Z. Oh, she was Hinata in Naruto.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, of course. So she definitely is amazing. But at the time when she did this, I don't know. I don't think she was at her best, I guess. Again, she started in 2001. This show came out in 2003. This had to be within the first year, this was actually dubbed to be released, that she started working as a voice actress. But either way, though, I'm really happy that she's still, voice acting, though, because she's been amazing, especially, in Legend of Korra and stuff like that. So, either way, though, I want to see anything else. Oh, yeah. So what are your theories? Do you think that this is all in Naota's head, or what? Speak now.
I mean, yeah, no. Speak
now, forever
hold your fooly-cooly.
Holding the fooly-cooly.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry I keep making this.
that joke, we're going to start, okay, if we can, I'm going to try to use that joke as much as I can.
Oh, God.
As much as I can. And granted, you're going to be gone for a bit, Tristan, but even with you being gone for a bit, don't worry, everybody, we have shows planned. We have stuff filmed for years. Tristan can go off into space tomorrow, and you wouldn't know he'd be gone for a year. But
he'll replace me with the TV set that's mobile and moving, and fights other giant robots for a bit. He'll be fine.
Tristan, I could never replace you with that. Way too expensive. But
the Angel of Dark Flame.
You have to understand, though. I cannot replace you with a television head. I can't. Too expensive. However, I can shave down Anthony Toto.
Oh, wait.
Well, because he has a mustache. So I can shave his mustache off, and we can put a wig on him, and he can be like, "Yeah, no, I'm Tristan." And I'd be like, "Yeah, of course you are, Anthony, Tristan." And he'd be like, "I know, right? I don't say ass." And it'd be like, of course, it's clearly Tristan.
Oh, my God. But yeah, I do think everything that actually happens does happen. Because you technically have the whole thing with Haruko going on. She's chasing after Atmos, who's being held custody by Mechanica, and they're on Earth because they're trying to take over the galaxy by steamrolling and ironing out everything that's different. Medical Mechanica, sorry. But all of that, like, this huge kind of cosmic battle that's going on in the back is the background, where I think that's also a joke, as, you know, for, like, usual anime, it's like something like that would be the main plot, and yet the main plot is just this slice of life of this kid getting mixed up in the middle of this and him just trying to figure out who he is and what's going on in his own life.
And I think that's what really resonated with people who, especially long time. That's why it's kind of hard for me to say that it's a gateway, even though it definitely was a gateway for some. But I think it might be, you know what I think a great way to describe this show is not necessarily a gateway, but an awakening for those who had seen anime potentially before they even knew it was anime. And I'm talking about from a Western perspective here. So
right.
You and I, right, you know, even though we wouldn't have seen it in 2003, but the point is that you and I, who grew up with, you know, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z, Beyblade. You might not have seen all of these, Tristan, but I'm still going to name a bunch off that, you know, did come out around the same time. Beyblade, thinking, well, we didn't really see Ava, but we would have heard about it on Toonami. Digimon. Yeah, I didn't say Digimon somehow. Digimon, thank you. Gundam. And a bunch of other shows, or a bunch of sequels like Digimon 2, 3, you know, a bunch of those coming out at the time, when we then get to be old enough to see, to see Fooly Cooly, even though we might not have gotten all the references because, you know, if we didn't see, like the Ava one could have even slipped by me with their pronunciation of it.
Right.
Because some people say Evangelion, some people say Evangelion. So when it comes to the show, I do think that people who, just the same way that I saw Death Note, when I saw Death Note, I was like, oh, this is anime, and the stuff that I used to watch, even though I knew it must have been called anime as a kid because I went online a lot and I knew what was coming next on DBZ before it even got dubbed on TV. So I had to know that it was called anime, but at the same time, when I was like 12, 13, a little bit old, you know, around that age, 12 to like 15 is when I really started discovering anime as anime, instead of just being a kid at home watching these cartoons on TV that I'm like, yeah, this isn't like Rugrats.
Yeah.
Can't put my finger, I don't know, like maybe in passing, you know, just like how someone lies to you. In this case, it's a lie, and someone tells you that Santa isn't real, but you believe it because you lose the magic in your heart. That does happen, but it's not true. Santa exists, kids. But the way you kind of hear that in passing, you don't like sometimes have it be like a big moment where like your parents are sitting down from you, like Genji, like, or not Genji, like Gendo. Like with Shinji and Gendo, where she's like, son, I have to tell you something. Your mama's dead and Santa doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't always happen that way. There isn't some big talk sometimes. Now get in the robot. But I thought, but why? This is your Christmas gift. But I thought you said Santa doesn't exist. Just get in the robot.
That
I am Santa.
I won't give you presents. I mean, Jesus, come on. You're still my kid.
Anyway, die for us. Anyway, but still, the point is that it doesn't have to be like. It doesn't have to be a big moment to hear, you know, some life events. So like maybe like in passing, it's randomly heard from like, you know, maybe like my dad or like my mom or someone who was like, oh, you know, that's not American, right? I don't know, but I know that like it really started to click when I started seeing certain shows, and I think this show to some people in the West might have been that show, perhaps.
Right.
For some younger fans, people maybe around our age, maybe 2-3 years older. But I think for the older crowd, for the crowd that was clearly in their 20s and older at the time that Fooly Cooly came out in the U.S., I think it just felt refreshingly different to them. Because you get caught up with all the different shonen shows. You get caught up with, you know, fan service exists, but it isn't done like it is here where, in my opinion, even though some of it felt, you know, odd, because I'm not usually the biggest fan of fan service unless I know I'm getting it in my show. Like, I can take fan service when I'm watching a show that I know is heavy fan service, but also for cheap, like not even cheap, but like general laughs and giggles. I can take fan service in that way, but like it's always odd, especially even when we watch like Dragon Ball Z, when we're watching Dragon Ball Z or Super, and it's like I didn't come here for the fan service. I came here for the punchy.
Right.
You know, this is not Dragon Ball fan service, sir. Fukatsu, the F in Fukatsu no F does not stand for fan service, okay? You could please just remove breasts from my program. Thank you.
Fukatsu no Frieza fan service.
Jesus Christ. No, because do you remember the jokes for the subtext when Goku and Frieza were talking to each other? Like, you know, it's been a while. It has. Like, all the subtext people were joking about online.
Right.
Anyway,
oh, God.
the point is though, I'll just say, I do think that you get caught up in, you know, in like you get so used to shows like even something like Ranma 1/2, where like I don't hate it, but like it was so huge at the time that you know, a show like Ranma 1/2, Dragon Ball Z, GT also existed. I mean, I'm not saying it was huge at the time, I'm saying that it existed, and other shonen shows and other shows that could be a little bit different, but even with something like Evangelion, from what I've seen, I still haven't finished it. Dun dun dun, like a huge shock. Everyone's like, "Oh, nani?" But still, a show like this definitely changed people's perceptions on like, "Oh shit, like this is fresh. Good God, let's hold on to it forever." And people did.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, especially because it was, I don't know how the show was even imported back in the day. And before it was like I'm talking about like by fans, like it's only 6 episodes long, but I'm pretty sure back in the day in 2000, they would release only like 1 to 2 episodes on a VHS tape. So it was like,
yeah.
How dare you?
Well,
no, because what?
Feels like this didn't come out on VHS. I feel like it might
did.
have been on DVD.
It was both, I believe.
Oh, all right.
Well, because remember, VHS, they stopped being made in like 2004.
Right, yeah.
So I know it was on DVD for sure, though. Like, that's 100%. You're right about that. But I'm saying that when I say, like, how was it distributed, what I mean is that it came out here in 2003. The show came out in Japan in 2000. Clearly, for those 3 years, people were, you know, wanting, like, itching to get it in the West, and just like years prior, I'm sure they traded VHS tapes around. But what I'm saying is that if they traded like legal stuff from Japan into the U.S., the Japanese stuff, it was even less than other DVDs and VHS at the time, like less episode counts. Because like a show like Ranma or other shows, they would try, or like, what's that other one? Oh crap, I can't remember it. Not Magical Night Raiders. Utena, Magic Girl Utena. Like, they would try to put, like, 4 episodes at most, maybe 3 if they needed to. But if it was a thing where, like, it was, like, 12-episode series, it'd be like, well, 3, 3, 3, 3, or, like, 4, 3, 3, and then 2, or some shit like that. But in this case, there's only 6 episodes, so you can't put 3 and 3. Quote-unquote, you can't, because they're like, we would like to make some money from this. So I'm pretty sure in Japan, Gainax released 1-episode DVDs.
Right.
1 episode per DVD, Tristan.
Yeah.
Ride on, my bank account. Because, like, Jesus. There better have been a lot of cool special features on those, I have to say. I don't care how much of a fan I am of something. I would not pay for 1 episode on 1 DVD.
I mean, it was the times, man.
No, man. Nah, man, I'm good. I'm good. But and I'm pretty sure in the U.S., Sync Point originally licensed it. I'm pretty sure they released like 2-episode DVDs at the time, and it being 2003, I think when like the 4-episode volumes still existed, but they were kind of weaning off them a bit because DVD had been out for a few years. So they were like, wait, maybe let's try to give some box sets. I think, but don't quote me on that. But but still, 2 episodes in the U.S. on each DVD in 2003, people were like, Sync Point, come on, man. Are you really? Dude. Are you? This is what I have to. I mean, I love it, so I will. But are you serious? Like, people were like, "Why are you doing this?" Let's see. I want to see. Was it? Yeah. Also, would like to mention as well that when they went out of print, the reason why you can buy them now, the reason why they are in print is because guess who picked up the distribution rights to the show, Tristan?
Well, it didn't. Like before Funimation or?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, Funimation.
Yeah, I love it. Guess who it was, Tristan? Do you mean before Funimation? Well, that's the lead. You buried it. I run away crying. A Funimation logo pops out of my head.
Oh God.
Yes. Yeah, so, yes, Funimation picked it up in 2010. Before them, it was Sync Point, but like I said, that went out of print, and that's why I was like, do you know who? Clearly you knew who. I didn't know if you knew. I don't know.
I didn't even know if I knew. But then I pulled it out of my brain and smacked you in the face with it like a freaking guitar. Didn't see that coming, did you?
I actually might choke. I almost choked. I choked on air. Holy shit, that's a problem.
My plan is working.
Yeah, right. You're slowly. That reminds me of that joke I saw. I saw a picture online that it was like, guy gets down on one knee, and a girl goes, "Oh my God, it's happening!" And then he falls over on his side, and then she says, "The poison's kicking in."
Oh my God.
So that's. That reminded me of that, where you're just like, I'm like, this is gonna kill me, and you're like, it's working. But no, the way I look at this show is, yes, I do want to believe that all of it totally happened for realsies, but the reason why it's very interesting is because, so like in a normal show, when any main character, doesn't matter who it is, boy or girl, man, woman, whomever, right, when they have a harem of people who they're like, these people are totally into me, like a Tenchi Muyo situation.
Oh, God.
It's played for laughs, but it's supposed to actually be like all these women are like, Tenchi, 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 and I'm like, Tenchi, and I'm like, they're like, what? And I'm like, does that have to just be you? Back the fuck up. He's pretty cool.
Right.
Back the fuck up.
Well,
look at all these women. I'm like, back the fuck up. Tenchi's amazing.
Right.
But still, but like when you look at a show like this, it feels as if it's him as a very young child too. Like he's like, I was thinking, oh, is he like in middle school? But like middle school and high school, like you have to be 15 to be in high school in Japan. So it could be like he's 14 in middle school. Like I was wondering if that's the way it was, and then it wasn't, and I was really confused. I was like, what?
No, yeah, he's 12. So he's older than I thought. But yeah, well, I mean, I feel like, oh God. Now I forgot her name. Mamimi, yeah. I feel like she's 15, maybe 17.
Not 17. They said how old she was. I thought she was 14 or 15. Because they showed her age along his age, and then when they showed Haruka, it was just like it was a bunch of question marks.
I think she made a joke that she was supposed to be 19, but then again, you can't trust anything that comes out of your mouth.
No, literally, she says, "I'm 19," and then you hear Naota in the background going, "Hard to believe," or something like that. Yeah. So yeah. Also, apparently, she was using the cat as like a transmission device or something like that. Just a random aside. Right.
Yeah. Well, because she's talking. Yeah, she's talking in Naota's room, and it sounds like whoever she's with, or the Galactic Space Police Brotherhood, which don't know if she's part of that actually. Pretty sure she's just a rogue element.
That could, it's funny. You're right. Either A or B, you never know with her. But a little column A, a little column B. But still, my point though is that when you look at him being so young and like, he's in situations where he's just like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, I just feel as if some of the situations that he's in, of course, is like they're fantastic because it's anime and things like that. But if you kind of flip it on its head for the way that the show is, it does feel like it's him processing different things that are happening in his life with very wacky, insane things, right? Where, like, he sees that, I'm not saying that, like, something crazy, like, oh, Haruka, she's clearly, like, his dad's new girlfriend or something. But, however, though, it's interesting to see how he kind of, the way he reacts to some of the things that he sees, and how immediately his response, I say his response as in the way, what the show did to be like, no, don't worry, everything's okay, it's not as weird as you think, it was a robot.
Right.
And it's like, that's what a kid would do to kind of cope with something like that.
I'm a cool robot. Everyone's a cool robot on the inside, though, Matt.
Oh, shit. He knows. He knows.
We don't have skeletons, Matt. We have robots. Come on.
I just start flying away.
There you go.
No, but you see what I mean, though, right? Like, there's certain parts of the show that it seems like a coping method for a kid who, is very, very imaginative would just be to cook up some new scheme, like some new, like, it seemed like it was like not a constant rewrite, but like a revision. Like, oh, that wasn't my dad with this girl that I like. It was a robot.
Right.
Little things like that. Like, oh, no, she left. No, she didn't. She was just in Hawaii. I forgot to tell you. Like, interesting little things that, would get changed so that, like, kind of to his will, if you will.
Yeah, or even him trying to cope with everything that's going around him, or like some of the things that he looks at or situations that he's in feel a lot more like, how is this happening to me, or a big deal. Like when his class, Hinamori stays over that one after getting hit by the Vespa. It's like, no, and you have a lot going on at home. It's fine. Like, you're both classmates. Like, we'll help you out. You can stay here for the night. And he, like, starts getting all bent out of shape. It's like, dude, relax. It's not, nothing's going to happen, obviously. We're kids. We're just in the same class. Or with Mamimi. It's weird because she's, well, not weird, but the idea is, like, it's a chain of effect. His older brother left, and they're both drawn together as characters because they both have a strong connection to that brother character who's no longer there. So she's hanging around, his little brother, trying to be reminded of being with him, but at the same time trying to remind herself and trying to remind him that it's like, no, that you're not him, and they both have to remind each other of that at times.
And something major. So his brother, I assume, and this is not a pun, this is being serious, like, he's in the majors, like in the major leagues in the U.S., I assume, if he's playing abroad. So he's playing abroad, and, clearly that gives Naota a connection to the baseball bat. Because, baseball in general, not only is baseball big in Japan, a lot of, sports manga bigger in Japan than they are here, even though baseball is obviously huge here, for some reason sports manga usually don't do well, which is very odd. Because sports are big here, but usually the manga that accompany them, and even the anime that accompany them, don't always do that well here. What am I getting at? Right. So Naota, he clearly has a connection with baseball due to his brother, or vice versa, right? Has a connection to, his brother through baseball, whichever way you want to look at it. And how does Naota save the world? By hitting against a giant baseball-looking comet.
And that was only the third episode.
Yeah, but isn't that really odd? I mean, obviously, again, as a message, as a theme, it's, him growing up, but, like, isn't it interesting how the entire episode was about swinging the bat, and then even though he's not on the field, I'm not saying, it's funny, this is like Fight Club. Haruka is just him. They're both the same person. Right. No, but Haruka's on the field doing so much better than him at baseball. He doesn't even talk about playing baseball, really, although he knows something about it clearly, because with Mamasebo Mama Makusa in the first episode, he was telling her how to actually hold the bat. I will never not call her that now. No, but with Mamimi, the way she was holding the bat, and he was like, you're holding it wrong, by the way. Like, he knows shit, but he clearly doesn't seem to be the athletic type.
Right. And
he seems to be a lot...
I feel like it's a big idea of him trying to get out of his older brother's shadow, too. Yeah. Like, everyone looks at him and thinks of his older brother who, was probably a really popular guy, plays baseball. He was like pretty sure he was part of the fire department or a volunteer. Like that's how Mamimi met him. And she was a lot younger when she met him too. Like I feel like she may have been in middle school or like going into high school as he was leaving, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she's pining after him, but he's obviously a bit older too. So it's like, no, I have somebody else in mind. Like when Haruko finds that photo, it's like an American girlfriend. It's like, I don't think he was ever actually going out with, Mamimi. She just felt that way because she had a crush on him, kind of like how Naoto has a crush on her or on Haruko.
He's very popular, Tristan. He has an American girlfriend.
Oh, my God.
Very popular. Desu, very popular.
I didn't mean to connect those two right away.
But I just find it funny. I just found it funny, though. Like, when you said he's very popular, my head immediately went to an American girlfriend. Oh, no. But isn't it interesting, though, if you think about not the two of them as the same person, but, like, as the psyche, as the jump between the two, isn't it funny the way they connected the two scenes at the same time, though? Like, when Mamimi, when she finds out, hey, from Naota, hey, he's not into you, and then it jumps right to Haruka going like, oh no, an American girlfriend, no.
Right.
It's just so funny how they connected the two. Although it's funny, all jokes aside, this film is not inspired by Fight Club. I'm pretty sure the movies came out at the same time. Being serious here, I'm pretty sure the movies came out at the same time. The book had existed, but I'm 99% sure it was not translated to Japanese. Because, again, this anime had to be worked on for at least a good 2 years. And I'm pretty sure the book came out in, 98, 99. So, anyway, just putting that joke aside, when it comes to the themes in this show, though, it definitely is interesting that, talking about getting out of his brother's shadow, and even just looking at his brother's accomplishments, it's like, oh, my brother went to the U.S., to play baseball, on either some kind of scholarship or maybe, he's just that good that they signed him outside of
a small
college.
Like his, that's like a big deal for like everyone else around him. Like, oh shit, your brother went to the U.S.? He's like, yeah, whatever, he did.
No, he's so big in the U.S., but guess what? Now he saved the world with a baseball, with a baseball bat. No, but I'm being serious here. Like, isn't it interesting? Like, when you look at other things going on in his life, it seems like the coping mechanism is go big or go home. Right,
and it also feels like swinging the bat is the metaphor for, put the effort in, try. You won't know until you try, and once he finally does, it maybe isn't enough at that point. Like Haruko still has to jump in and help him send the bomb back out from the satellite into space to stop, the Earth from blowing up. But and even that idea, like a small kid looking at this, like looking at problems as something that will kind of is the end of all existence, where really, if you think of it as, the real world, maybe the problem isn't as big as he sees it, but since he's so young, that's what it feels like.
Exactly. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Although, and it's something you said that's 100% true. It's not wrong. It's just funny only because of what Attack Eyebrows said earlier in the episode, where it's just like, you have to try. You don't know until you swing, jumps to Attack Eyebrows. So how'd you kill your dad? Poor
Right. Oh, God.
You won't know until you try. It's like, well, he knows it's a robot,
his
though.
Character, too. Sorry?
He knows that it was a robot, apparently. Like, he was just trying to get info on what the kid knows about Haruka.
Right. Well, it's funny because he obviously has connection to Haruko as well. I feel like she may have been here earlier and kind of went through a similar thing with him. But, of course,
so here's the thing. Yeah, I don't think he's in his 30s. Let's say he's in his late 20s. Because here's what's funny. Yeah. He might seem a bit older, but frankly, you know how it is from a kid's perspective. Like if a 12-year-old looks at us, we're fucking 80 to that kid.
Right.
So I do wonder if he's literally in his 20s, and clearly he met her because he kept on talking about, hey, how can I get a haircut? Like a haircut I'm seeing someone who's an old fling and maybe they want to get together with me again if they see me looking really nice.
Right.
He said that. He literally said that, and he's talking about going to see Haruka later. And then it's funny because as the animation, when it cuts back and it shifts back to their normal, quote unquote, normal animation for Fooly Cooly, it's then all of a sudden Haruka as the hair washer, and he's like, "I'm gonna pull a gun out on you, motherfucker," and just straight up just pulls the gun out like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like that's their version of "Hello, how are you?"
And then her guitar turns into a rifle, and she starts swinging around, and they have their whole gun match. Oh, that's funny. That's another, aside from the guns, but also I forgot to mention earlier, especially in the first episode where they did the 3D, swing arounds, The Matrix. There's another one for you for reference.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one as well. Yes, I can't believe I almost forgot about that. Another thing, too, I want to mention, something very interesting about guns in Japan. Guns are actually outlawed in Japan. And I'm not trying to get into, like, a whole political thing. I'm just saying, like, just the facts. Guns are outlawed in Japan. You can only get guns if you have a license. And the reason why that I know that, like a hunting license, the reason why that I know that is because I read a manga called, I think it was, like, I Am a Hero or I Am Hero. It's a really good manga. Such a good manga. It's about a zombie. Dude, Dark Horse is releasing it. You gotta read it eventually. It's so good. But why is it relevant? The main character, he's an otaku. He's a major nerd. He has a hunting license, so he has a rifle. He's one of those people that really does in Japan, because not all the people that do, they're in Japan have one. And the zombie apocalypse breaks out. So he's like this. I'm a neat. I'm a hikikomori. Like he doesn't even really leave his house. But now he kind of has to go out into the wild of Japan to see the destruction that these zombies are wreaking. And these aren't even like the standard like slowly walking. Like these run.
Right.
So he has to try to kind of survive in this world with some of the people that he meets along the way. So it's a very interesting manga series. I think it's still going. I know Dark Horse is still releasing it regardless because they're a few years behind, but I don't know if it's still going in Japan. But anyway, and also it got a live action movie as well. But anyway, Japanese one. But my point, though, is that you can't really get guns easily. So, of course, in their media, it might show up a little bit here and there. And it felt like with this one, because it was late night and they really wanted to go nuts with it, they went nuts with it. Because they're like, well, let's go crazy. Because like usually when we see guns in anime, it might be something small, like here's my pea shooter, gotta shoot the aliens, and the aliens are just like, do you want this back, and then murders them. But like that's usually what happens, like it's either like a farmer or someone who's protecting land or again hunting license or something like that. But usually we don't see many guns in anime unless it's anime that's set abroad or like in a lawless like Black Lagoon.
Right.
But usually it's like, oh, I have a spirit gun. Like I'm using my Reiki. Like it's never like gun. But in this case, they're like, nah, government officials. Also mixed in with the fact that you can morph anything into anything. So fuck it, you have guns. Who cares? And I was like, all right, shit. I was like, okay. No, it was very interesting because it was a lot of guns, and I was like, damn, because it's been a while since I've seen Fooly Cooly, so like out of nowhere it went from no guns to a fuck ton.
Right.
Like in the first episode, like what episode were there guns in? The third or the fourth? I think it was the fourth, yeah?
Yeah, I think it was the fourth.
Yeah, so imagine 3 episodes with literally 0 guns. That's the thing, too. It's like 3 episodes. It's like no gun whatsoever. And also another thing, too, to think about, like, in a kid's mind, what he sees on TV and everything like that. Out of nowhere, it just goes from, like, everyone has a gun, and then bang, bang, boom, boom, like, like as if it's a movie.
Yeah, well, because he was watching that movie. I don't know what it was supposed to be, like, a joke of, but it was a movie he was watching with his grandfather, and he was, like, so mesmerized by it, and his grandfather is just, like, drooling into his breakfast. Like,
oh, right. I might have missed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's little things like that that's very interesting, that when you think about, this character. Also, by the way, I have to say, the art style is beautiful. I think we should have mentioned this first thing we probably should have said. I love TV Boy, or TV-kun. I love his design so much. Well, I believe he was TV-kun in Japanese, but of course, again, localizations, they like just call him TV Boy.
Right, yeah.
And yes. By the way, the joke, he's our television. Then why is he walking? Oh, he's also a Walkman. I was like, you motherfuckers. They called him a Walkman, Tristan.
Yeah.
God. Also, did you notice that they actually referenced Pepsi? And I was just like, I don't think that's legal. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah. The I got this from the shop. It still sells Crystal Pepsi. Oh, God, I died.
The reason why that's relevant, you might be like, why is that relevant? There's a Japanese drink that was discontinued at the time that they had to localize. Right. They're like, shit, what do we do? So they picked Crystal Pepsi. Because I remember, if I remember correctly, Crystal Pepsi bombed. But
yes,
it did. But this was the year 2000, so it was still a place that had Crystal Pepsi. And, of course, that was Naota's dad's store where he was trying to sell those leaflets with news. And then the news that he was selling was the exact news about his friend's father, the mayor. The scandal, the scandal about her dad, which was so interesting. By the way, I love that secretary only because she, even though she did ruin their marriage, which sucks, it doesn't seem like she hates the daughter. Like, it seems like she's like, look, me and your dad, I know, but I don't think that you're a threat. Because, because there's some people, man or woman, doesn't matter who it is, when they come into a new relationship and there's a kid involved, they think of the kid as a threat, even though it's like, fuck you, that's the kid. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting that she actually did care. Like, she actually was like giving her advice sort of. She's like, you're actually very smart. And at first I thought that was like being rude.
Right.
But then when she actually was like asking what she had in the bag, I was like, oh wait, she's actually trying to make a connection here. Sure, it's like really fucked up. She fucked her dad.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's terrible, but she's actually like taking an interest in this kid. Also, it just made me laugh where, like, we have her, this is the daughter, just looking at the secretary like, you brought a change of clothes even though you slept over. That was smart of you. And she's like, you're very observant.
Yeah, you're very observant. Oh, God. I need to be on this kid's good side.
Yeah, basically. And it's interesting, because it's such a small town to say, like, oh, the mayor is involved in this. Like, obviously there's other towns that, like, I live in New York. You can still say, like, there's a mayor. It's not like there's, like, no mayor. It's like, it's only the governor. There's no mayor. Like, no, of course, there's local politicians. But in a town like that, it really does make it seem like, the kid goes to school with the rest of the kids. And, and it's a big scandal that you don't want to have get out.
I mean, it's odd because, like, they say at the end of the episode he was never brought up on charges and it was dropped and the parents stayed together. But because Hinamori, the girl, she actually says something at, I think it was the last episode in 6. It was like everyone was saying how she was being mature for her age and blah, 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 and she was trying to keep that facade as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, not saying that was wrong of her or anything, but, like, by the end of it, she says, I talked to my parents and I cried, and now I feel better. And it's like, oh, wow. No, like, that's the actual thing you need to do. Don't try and act tough and, be cool. And it's like, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever. It's like, no, you did the right thing, and now you're better for it, because she's a lot more... Because she did that whole thing where she's like, oh, I cheated to get the, lead in the play.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, after that,
first, I don't know. I felt like it was a weird thing there because it was like, you cheated, and I'm like, okay, her dad's a politician, all right? If she tells that to her dad, he'd probably be very proud of her. And so I was actually I was like, you should probably try to connect to your dad. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Tristan, that I've besmirched our very saintly politicians throughout this great world. Not just our nation and every nation. I'm sorry that I've besmirched the clean name of politicians.
You done?
No, I can't be. Are you done? No. Why are you getting all fooly-cooly? Oh, God. I should also mention something,
Stop getting fooly-cooly with me. You don't pay me to do this. You pay me to talk. Now keep going.
Then I will. Speaking of the show, there's actually a series of novels, Matt, what the fuck? There's a series of novels and manga that were released at the time. So even though, like, this wasn't just an anime, even though I think the anime, even though the manga and the novels are out in the U.S., they're out of print, but they are out. But I do think that
Tokyo
maybe...
Pop. Huh.
Well, yeah, Tokyo Pop released the novels, which I don't know if that's good or not, and the manga was actually released by Dark Horse Comics, though with Dark Horse, it could also have been out of print for years. God only knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they do exist online if you guys want to try to buy them online if you can. I mean, I might actually if they're cheap enough. But it's still interesting because I think with something like Fooly Cooly, especially with the way that it was made, I think the OVA just outshines everything else, but I would actually love to take a crack at the novel series and see if, I don't know if it's a light novel or if it's a novel, but still, I want to see if it gets into maybe some more depth that we didn't have in the show.
Yeah, it does mention that there are elements in those that were not present in the anime. Excellent,
because there's 3 novels and there's 2 manga. And they were all released literally like June 1st, 2000 was the first novel. At some point in 2000, they don't have an exact date here, for the manga, and for the anime, April 26, 2000. So it is interesting how, yes, the anime seems to have kicked everything off, but it still is pretty cool how they released other tie-ins as well at the same time. Let's see here. I want to see, there was no video game at all. And there really should be a video game. Even if it's a small mobile game or something, that would be a lot of fun. Or a small online thing. That would be great. Anyway.
It'll just be the game that Mamimi was playing.
Yeah. I honestly, dude, I'd pay $1. I'd pay like $5 for that game. If they expanded on it, of course. Maybe added some more levels. That'd be fun.
Metaphor for life. You just keep burning and burning. And nothing ever changes. You have to keep a balance.
Yo, when Naota said, "Oh, is that the game where you burn everything to the ground?" I was like, I don't like where this is going. Either that, or I was like,
"Did you burn your school down?" No.
Yeah.
What gave you that idea? Nothing.
Did you not burn your school down?
Yes.
No.
Crap.
Wait, isn't it no? Doesn't that make a yes? I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't do these equations here. I'm not a math guy, Tristan. I apologize. Yeah, when it comes to, because I also want to talk about his dad, because we talked about it a little bit, but I want to delve into it just a bit further. It's interesting, this idea of like him versus his dad in a way, where it's like fighting for her affection, sort of.
Yeah, it's almost Freudian in a way.
Very much so, actually. And it's something that, a lot of people talk about, this idea of like, when you become strong enough, it's like when you become strong enough to, like outfight your dad is when, not that you're better than your dad, but like it's like, okay, you've achieved manhood. I disagree, this is, in a way, but still, it is something that people have talked about, or like that kind of thinking has been talked about for years and for generations. This idea of like, it's like you're going up against your dad, not so much for the affections of your mom, because I don't think Haruka is actually taking the place of his mom necessarily. I do think that she's taking the place of like the new girlfriend, though. I do, because like I do think she's taking the place. I'm not saying that she actually is in real life. I'm just saying that like it seems like she's taking the place of, hey, like like I really, because it does seem like now with the mistakes other people's affections for things that are more than they actually are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now with Mamimi though, I do think that her affections were odd though. Like they did come off as more than they should have been, and I was like, stranger danger, but I mean, like. It turns out that wasn't the case.
Part of her character too. Like she's very confused as well with losing, his older brother.
Yes, so she was never going to actually do anything. It just seemed creepy as fuck. I gotta be real.
Yeah,
it seemed creepy.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
But she was never going to do anything. That was never what it was. But he then, accidentally, you could argue, had affections for her if he didn't originally in the first episode, and then with what's it called? And then with Haruka, it does feel as if it's kind of like, oh, do you like me? And again, with Haruka, it's just, she's just very playful and terrible. Granted, again, the stuff that she did was creepy. And in that way,
Right.
I do think that that's another thing, too, about the series. Like, does it age well in that regard? Where it's like, can I show someone who's never seen anime before and be like, no, it's meant to be a joke. And it's like, 12. He's a child.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's meant to be funny because she's older. It's like either she's 19 or she's immortal. Either way, she's going to space jail. So, like, it's just a thing. It's just a weird situation. So, like, I don't know how to discuss it, like, to show like new people it without being like, okay, so let me explain.
Right.
The robot stuff is really fucking cool. There's a lot of anime references that you won't get. So we should. Also, did I mention the Nazi thing? You know,
I
it's
feel like
just,
it kind of plays on that outdated idea of like, oh, you know, if they pick on you, it just means that that they actually like you. You know, obviously,
potentially.
Nowadays it's like, we're not really trying to go for that anymore.
But also remember that this was released 18 years ago. So was it?
Yeah.
Was it picking on that? I don't know.
It's not that old that it's like out of date, but it's also not that young that you'd look at it and be like, okay, why are we still making these jokes? It was kind of on that cusp.
Well, no, but I mean is if it came out 3 years ago, then I would assume it's not parody, but it's trying to subvert that trope. But it is 18 years ago, so I don't know if it's not subverting the trope, but it's leaning into it due to its age. That's a very interesting argument. Yeah, potentially, you're right. It could be a little of both. But still speaking on the fact that, you know, this idea that he's misinterpreting her feelings and things like that, because then she's being very, whatever you want to call it, with the dad. And again, apparently it's a robot, apparently it's not real, et cetera, et cetera. You know, and apparently she says, hey, you know, I met you first, so clearly, you know, I like you at the very least. But, like, it's just such a strange situation. Like, in a way, I really wish he was a bit older, but again, it wouldn't be about him, like, in terms of the way it seemed flirty. But again, if we look at it from the perspective of, oh, it's him thinking all this, like, he's not necessarily imagining, but, like, it's coming from him in a way, then it's a bit less weird because it's what he thinks he wants. But again, that's the thing, like, it's this piece of work, it does feel very much like how you interpret it. Like, it's very much, like, art is how you interpret it, obviously, all the time. But, like, at the same time, like, it's not every single film is an English class. And you know what I mean by that.
Right. Yeah.
And if anyone out there doesn't remember English class, their English class was always, and I loved English teachers. I love my teachers, but, like, English class always felt like, so, you know, like, I would look up online, or you would hear, okay, the reason why it was written this way was because his hand cramped. And then the teacher would be like, the reason why it was written this way is to show how hard things were at the time, not just for the writer, but for the character as well. And it really brings out, and you're just like, his hand cramped. Or you want to be like that. Like, it's like, it doesn't, like, everything doesn't have to be some crazy amount of subtext, but in this case.
Why are the curtains blue? Because they were fucking blue! Yeah, no, not everything.
Where was that
subtext,
from?
But
where was that from?
I don't remember. It was a joke amongst some of my other friends.
No, because I remember that joke, but I didn't remember if we took it from somewhere or if we made that up ourselves.
It's from a popular, or it's from a book that almost like everyone reads in school at some point and that kind of thing, and it's something with all, it's going on about that subtext, and everyone's like, no, it's either you get it or it's like, no, it's fucking blue curtains. Stop trying to make it this grandiose idea that it's not.
I'm going to try to guess the book right now. We have that kind of time on this podcast. Was it, because we were in high school at the time, was it Gatsby or no?
No.
Because if it wasn't Gatsby, was it? It wasn't.
Maybe.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't To Kill a Mockingbird. It wasn't Catcher in the Rye. Ah, fuck. Was it Gatsby? Because I never got to read Gatsby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was supposed to read Gatsby at 1 year. So if my teacher is listening, I did read Gatsby. So I was supposed to read Gatsby. So I totally did. Anyway. No, but it's been a long time. Maybe I did read it, but I've forgotten. But I know I loved Catcher in the Rye, so I'm like, I don't think The Blue Curtains is from that, and I don't think The Blue Curtains was from To Kill a Mockingbird. But it was, God, I forgot what book it was from. It was from some book that I remember, because I remember us in high school making jokes like, it's just a blue curtain. It's not about how depressed the character feels or something like that. It's like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it could just be a blue curtain.
Right.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like some people are like, how dare you deface art that way? But it's like, please understand, a lot of our friends now are writers. And I'm not saying that they're accomplished in the same way that we aren't, but they're writers nonetheless. And sometimes something just happens to be like, I don't think we're going to talk to all of our friends because we've talked to them before about some of the stuff that they've written, and they'll just go, I wrote that because I did. Like it didn't have to be some, like, heck, some of the stuff that we film in general is due to, like, there could be fun stories behind it, like, oh, why'd you guys film that? Funnily enough, we weren't supposed to, but then something else went wrong, so we couldn't film this, so we filmed this. Like, there could be fun stories, but it's not like, why did they film, why was, why for their first episode of Super Sleepover on Those Guys Play, did they play Dragon Ball Z Budokai for the Nintendo GameCube? Why did they play that, right? It could be simply, oh, we really like Dragon Ball Z, and Tristan has it for the GameCube, and that's it. But someone will be like, but the cube actually represents their inner desire. It's like, oh, fucking Jesus. No! He just had it from when he was a kid, and I never played the GameCube version. What was that?
It's the idea. It's like that's the beauty of art. You can interpret it however you wish because everyone's experience is a little bit different because it's their own experience.
Oh, very much. And it is beautiful about art. Do not get me wrong. Like when it comes to actual like paintings, I'm always like, of course, like, oh, let's interpret art. And even then, interpreting this Fooly Cooley, even if it was very straightforward and we didn't look at it from other directions, still, some people could say, even looking at it straightforward, it's mediocre and it's terrible. It's not for them. They like sports anime. They were in their zone the second they saw Naruto with a baseball bat and are really sad that it didn't go in that direction. You know?
Right.
No, that's true. Like, there could be people that are like really big fans of like Big Wind Up and like a bunch of other baseball anime, and they're just like, this really didn't do it for me because it's not sports. Okay, right? So that's why art is subjective. You're correct. Like it's hard for someone to say, no, this is a fact, this is truth, and it's like, man, like especially when it comes to like art styles too. It's like, no, it's just good. It's either good or bad, and it's like, not really, not all the time, So, yeah, but at the same time, though, I feel like this anime, especially with the way they talk about it, the creators talk about it, definitely opened it up to a large amount of interpretation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm sitting here and I'm like, does Haruka represent someone kind of literally just coming into their lives, kind of just, coming to their lives as like, like a love interest for dad, and, Naruto being a child, kind of like, sees the things that she says to him as like flirtatious, if you will, when really it isn't, and some of the stuff that's really raunchy is just all in his head. Or, again, he walks in on Dad and Haruka, which at first I thought was going to be a funny joke that they would reveal would be them, like, flexing their muscles or eating ramen or something. Something odd. And they didn't. Yeah. He was just like, whoa, and then his emotional response was for something to come out of his head, so I was like, oh, he actually saw some shit going down in there. But then what happens later? He kills his dad, and then what happens later? Oh, no, don't worry, it's a robot. And I'm not actually saying he killed his dad, because Jesus fucking Christ. But it's just...
Yeah, I think it was something to the idea was he was getting massage or something, like his shoulders. It's like it wasn't actually what Naruto thought.
Well, it's interesting, though. I don't know. I'm thinking it was what Naruto thought, but he didn't kill his dad over it is what I'm saying. Nor did, what's it called? Was it, like, what I'm saying is the reason why I said it was a robot is because I think he actually saw what we heard. Like, it was all real in terms of, like, it wasn't like a massage. I think it was legit. But, again, afterwards, what happens? Oh, no, it was just a robot. And it's like, wait, what? Why would a robot be made in his dad's image? Like, that literally made no sense with the, and I know that you're going to be like, Matt, come on, it's fully coolly. But with the canon they established, even throughout the entire show, it does not make sense to me, unless maybe you heard something that I didn't, that his dad, there was a robot version of his dad, and that just makes sense. Of course.
I think it was supposed to be, like, Medical Mechanica was making, like, human-like robots.
But it never came up again.
The idea that it looks, yeah, exactly, it looks just like his dad.
Is odd, to say the least. And I know it's coming from this show, so it's like, of course it's odd, but it's odd in a way that, again, like I mentioned earlier, if there was a problem, in true anime MC fashion, something came up to easily, not to easily, but like to solve it with the main character being A-okay. But in this case, because it's a kid and because it wasn't very straightforward with its shonen fighting aspects, it makes me think, is there more to this?
Yeah. And it's
by
also,
the way, so
you know, Haruko's not really that great a person either. It's kind of, you know, Eyebrows even bringing up that idea. It's like, oh, don't get involved with, you know, older women at your age. It's just going to lead you to heartbreak. You know, she's just using you to get what she wants. She's after Atmos. She has a thing for Atmos. You know, she's using you to get the guitar out of your head to be able to, you know, destroy Medical Mechanica to get to him. It's like, how can you not see that? But of course, you know, when you have a crush when you're 12, yeah, it's kind of hard to see what's going on.
I feel personally attacked right now.
Well, okay,
no, I mean,
don't worry. It's happened to the best of us. Like, that also, I think that's supposed to be the real beautiful thing about Fooly Cooly and why so many people really get into it. Because you may not get what's going on, like, in the entire episode. It could lose you. I know there were plenty of times where I was lost, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on? But then there were just these moments that are very iconic to just being human and just growing up. And it kind of reins you in with that. And it's enough because it's such an iconic feeling that a lot of people have gone, like, not necessarily that example, but there are different examples of, you know, just growing up pains that kind of resonate with you. And you're like, oh, you know what? That's, I can level with that. I can identify with that.
Yes, I don't think that when I say every, I'm not referring to the fact that, like, of course, not everyone has experience with fighting giant robots and stuff like that. But what I'm getting at more importantly is the fact that, and I'm being serious with this, is that every piece of this puzzle that has to do with growing pains, like you said, you might not fit every piece in, but I do think that a fair amount of people watching the show have at least one piece of that puzzle.
Right. Yeah. Whether it be,
least,
you know, what he was going through with his family, you know, or, you know, what he went through with the other girls, and, you know, or even what, you know, the idea, it's a little more subtle than the others, but, like, when Eyebrows is talking to him, it's kind of the idea, another adult telling you, like, oh, you know, take the mature path, take the safe and easy route. Like, you don't want to do this. You don't want to throw your life away and go with her just because you're in love with her right now.
But he has to make his mistakes.
Right. That's another thing. That's another lesson of life. It's like, yeah, you're going to make mistakes, and sometimes you just have to see them through to the end. That's the only way you grow.
Yeah, and what's very interesting is, and this isn't always true with, you know, with those that are older than you, not always, but it can be in certain cases, the idea that he literally, because of the fact that he knows Haruka, Eyebrows, he literally has been in Naota's exact situation before.
Right.
I mean, fuck, from the looks of it, he may have been born and raised in that exact town.
Yeah.
He literally knows exactly what Naota's going through. That's not usually the case. That's why sometimes I don't want to sit here and be like, it's just a blanket statement. Like, every person who's older than you clearly knows your exact situation. Because in the real world, it's not that clean. It's not that clean. But
because I really don't think Eyebrows got to have the giant robot fights. I think that was, you know, exclusive to Naota.
Exactly. No, I mean, we saw what came out of his head. I don't think it was just because he was older, although it might have been because he was older and because the magic was gone. Because it seemed like, I feel like there's a reason why it has to be kids. There has to be some kind of weird, I don't know why if it's the Pacific Rim rubbing off on me, but like there's a reason, like, it's the kids. There's imagination there. They're drift compatible.
Naota's drift compatible. That's why he can fuse with the robot and do cool shit and you can't.
But it's interesting though that and that's another thing too that would come from a kid's imagination. Oh, of course, as a kid, I can make all this happen, but my dad can't, even though he was with the lady. But like he can't do that, like I can, because I'm so cool, and neither can this adult that's giving me all this advice that I don't want to hear.
Right.
It's so interesting that, like, he's, again, in any other case, you're like, yeah, Ichigo's a chosen one, so what? You don't sit back and think, oh, God, he was hit by a car. You know, like, you don't think, like, none of us look at, like, Yu Yu Hakusho and be like, yeah, no, he didn't make it out alive. Like, he didn't come back to life. He's dead. Like, no one actually thought that with Yu Yu Hakusho.
It was a mistake you died that day. What do you mean a mistake? Nobody actually thought you'd, jump out in traffic and save that little kid's life. Funny thing is, you wouldn't have died either. They would have swerved around and missed. You died for nothing. Don't worry. We'll get you your life back. We erred.
That is, I think I said this when we reviewed that episode, is one of my favorite scenes in an anime ever, which is hard to say. But the reason why is because I think because it being one of my first anime, like Bleach. Well, actually, it's funny. You could argue that was, because it went to Toonami, so then it became one that I felt was like the rest. But like it went from being Adult Swim to Toonami. But still, my point is that with that, it did something that no other shonen that I could think of ever do at the time. And yes, I know Goku died and came back, but he didn't die in the first episode.
Right.
But anyway,
arguably, if you hopped in on Z.
No, he didn't. He didn't die in the first. He died in the fifth.
It wasn't the first episode. It was just early.
Listen, Tristan, it took Dragon Ball Z a month to kill off their main character. Let's give them some credit. It took them a month. No, a little over a month. It took them less than 3 months to kill off their main character. But you're actually very right about Dragon Ball Z. They did do that very early. But still, but even then, that was different than shows at the time. I never would have, speaking of that Rugrats reference, I never would have fucking watched Rugrats and thought, are the kids going to be okay? Although the movie did scare the shit out of me. Remember the movie with the train crash? That was terrifying.
Yeah.
But anyway, so talking about Fooly Cooly, though, I want to give you some time to gush about the band that made the ending theme song. Please, go nuts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was going to bring it up at some point, if you didn't. But, yeah. It's hilarious, actually, because there was an event. I think Adult Swim actually sponsored them coming over to America because they played a show here. And a friend of mine actually got to see that show, which is really cool. And they played, a lot of the different stuff from Fooly Cooly. Because, I mean, obviously, not to say that that's the only thing people know them for in Japan, but probably a lot of the reason people know them over here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's very fair, yes.
But yeah, it's funny because that ending theme, Ride On Shooting Star, is probably one of the most iconic endings for an anime to me. Because I think it was one of the first ones that I really got in. Not maybe one of the first, but one of the ones I really looked at and I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. Stuck with you, you know?
It isn't as iconic for me, at least the beginning of it is, but I do really appreciate and I love the way the ending song was made when they jumped to live action footage and had the Vespa going around. I think it's something that I really do. That's something that I really do appreciate, so that's something I do have to point out. Also, I want to point out the episode director for, let me see here. I want to see if he was the one for every single episode of Fooly Cooly, because we haven't talked about the staff too much, and I only want to bring them up because we mentioned earlier, Gynax, Production IG, you doing okay, guys? But I also want to point it out here. Let's see. So first episode director was Masahiko Otsuka, and it was written by Yoji Enokido. So let's see. I want to see if it's the same for... No, although Yoji Enokido does stay for the entire time. So I want to jump to Yoji Enokido then because I do want to see what he's done. It's a bit... Well, actually, no. There aren't that many episodes, so I can actually talk about Masahiko Otsuka as well. So let's try to open up. But no, I do think that there's even... Here's the thing, too, right? I think people, even if they dislike the show, right, even if they hate the show and it's one of their worst, they believe it's the worst anime they've ever seen, I do have to say, though, guys, any of you out there, you can have your opinions. Like, I'm not going to tell you not to believe what you want to believe. Again, that's art, right? But I do have to say, though, you have to admit there's a reason why this is so culturally, like, it's made such an impact.
Yeah,
and there's a reason why it was.
Classic.
Exactly. So with Yoji and Okido, he's actually written, let's see, he's written scripts for Sailor Moon, Evangelion, so that's funny for the Eva reference, Evangelion, Utena, Raxaphon, which I've heard of, Melody of Oblivion, or on High School Host Club. So
there you go.
That makes sense. That actually makes sense why we like that and this, funnily enough. Star Driver, Captain Earth, Bungo Stray Dogs. I've heard of Stray Dogs. The Dragon Dentist. I might want to look into that. And he also, he wrote a novelization of FLCL. Did not realize that. So he also wrote the novelization, not just the show.
Right.
That's very interesting. Also, there's some other things it seems like he's also written here, like Die Buster and other stuff that comes up. But I don't want to get anything other than like in the actual list, because when you search up someone's name, it'll show up other works that they may have worked on. But I'm like, it's not on the list, so I'm not gonna touch it. And then we have the director of most of the episodes, not all of them. Like I said earlier, Masahiko Otsuka. And I want to see. Let me scroll down here. I want to find an actual like. Why is there's like a Wikipedia for him and it's in French, and I'm like, but not we. No, the opposite of that. I was like, no, not yes. Bad. I want to see what else he's worked on here. Okay, there is an update to your privacy policy. Thank you. I'm just trying to find out what this man has done. He's worked on Den-O Coil. That's interesting. Den-O Coil? Yes, he's worked on Den-O Coil, Fruits Basket. I'm trying to find anything that I'm like Tristan. He was the production. He was the producer, considered the animation producer on Kill la Kill, and he also wrote the script for Little Witch Academia.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Also was episode director for episodes 14 and 20 on Evangelion. Oh, God. He was an episode director, an assistant director, and also wrote scripts for Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt.
Also makes sense.
You want to know what also makes sense? Assistant director, and he wrote some scripts and storyboards, and it was an episode director for a bunch of episodes of Gurren Lagann.
Also makes sense.
Super hot-blooded. It's just so funny. I'm like, yeah, going from this show to do that, yes, it does make sense. It makes a hell of a lot of sense for him.
Who the hell do you think I am?
Oh, my God. But there was also another person, as we wrap this thing up, there was someone else that I saw that I was like, I want to mention him. Let's see here. There was a few other episode directors. There was Takeshi Ando, and there was first episode 2, and then episode 3 was Shoji Saeki. And then for episode 4, 5, and 6. Nope. Shoji Saeki showed up again for episode 5. And then at 6, Otsuka came back. So I do want to look at the other two just as we wrap this thing up, because I really want to know, like, I love knowing where someone went or, like, what their history was with something, because I always want to, like, these fun connections are hilarious, like how we can connect the voice actor from Fooly Cooley to fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's like, let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes, Tristan. But anyway, so anything else you want to say about this as I'm looking up this info? Anything else you want to say about this anime? Oh, God, I think Tristan's been booted. Tristan, where are you? Tristan has been booted off the air. That's great. So we've gone over our limit of 2 hours, and I think that means that Tristan's been booted off the air. So I'm just going to say quickly, thank you all so much for listening in. Love you all. Take care. Go to the description box down below. You can see all the cool stuff that we have down there. Really sad that Tristan's been booted. He's gone back to his home planet. I'm going to have to tell him I'm sorry after we end this podcast. But thank you all. Love you all. Take care. And tune in next time for something completely different. All right, guys. Love you all. Take care. And see ya. And say goodnight, Tristan. This is where he would say goodnight. So good night, everybody.